We're heading back to remake territory, folks, so let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. And gets right, folks, we're gonna head back to remake territory. But before we head there, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here, great, would appreciate that. And a little channel news here quick before we get into this review. This will be my last video, my last review until around June 18th or 19th. I will return on one of those dates. Me and the family are heading down to Florida for a nice long vacation. Looking forward to it. So yeah, I'll be back with more videos around the 18th and 19th of June. I will also be announcing Horror Talk Live Episode 5, the date that'll come on. We're going to go back to summer camp, baby. Camp Blood, in fact. We're going to discuss the original Friday the 13th. Yes, so Horror Talk Live Episode 5 will be on Friday the 13th, and I'll announce that date soon. But today we're going to talk about another slasher film, a remake of a slasher film from 1980, and that one is Prom Night. Yes, I did the original Prom Night a few weeks ago, so this is the flip side of that coin. And around this time, there was a ton of horror remakes. We had Black Christmas, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We had Amityville Horror around this time, and then so on and so forth. After this, we had the Nightmare on Elm Street remake a little bit after this. So a lot of horror remakes around this time, and this was just another one in the bunch. Now, I never have seen this film. When I sat down and watched this the other night, it was the first time I've ever seen this film. I ignored it upon release, mainly because it was a slasher film and it was PG-13, and to me, that just doesn't work for me. But I figured, what the heck, I finally sat down and watched this film, and we're going to talk about it right now. Now, Prom Night came out April 11th of 2008. It's PG-13, although I did watch the unrated cut, which adds about a minute or two onto it, although it's not. I think the unrated cut would have got a PG-13 too. It's an hour and 28 minutes long, had a budget of $20 million, which had a nice size budget for this film. It grossed 43 in America and 57 worldwide, so it was a nice size little hit. And this film was directed by Nelson McCormick. Nelson McCormick mostly does TV work, but he has done a few films over the years, and this was one of them. Cast-wise, we got Brittany Snow as Donna. Brittany Snow was just in X last year, and she was awesome in that. Idris Elba is in this film as Detective Wynn. James Ransom is in this film as Detective Nash. I don't know if that's a call out to Black Christmas or not. I couldn't find anything on it, but I like to think it is. And Jonathan Skeech plays Richard Fenton, and he is our main bad guy, our slasher of this film, and we'll get into him in a second. And James Ransom's been in a ton of horror films. He was in It Chapter 2, he was in Sinister 1 and 2, he was in The Black Phone, he was in this, so he must like horror because he keeps coming back to it. And pretty much right in the beginning, we see Donna, our main final girl, coming home, finding her little brother dead on his bed, and she hides under the bed, and her mom, she hears yelling, she hides under the bed, and Richard Fenton kills her mom right in front of her, and he gets arrested and taken away to the loony bin. She moves in with her aunt and uncle, and this is several years later. Now she's a senior, and it's prom, hence the title Prom Night. And Richard breaks out of the loony bin and makes a beeline right back to find Donna because he's a teacher. It was a teacher at her school, and he became obsessed with her, believing that they belonged together forever. And he killed his way to her, got caught, and now he's escaped. And Donna goes to the prom with a bunch of her friends, and Richard shows up at the hotel and starts killing people off in very bland, unsuspenseful ways, honestly. And then we get our final showdown at Donna's house where Detective Wynn shoots him dead, and that's pretty much the end of the film. So what to like about this film? Well, I think the cast is pretty good. Brittany Snow is very likable here. She's good as the final girl. Her friends, though, while I didn't name the actors and actresses, they're pretty good too. The acting is pretty good for a film of this type. Idris Elba does the best he can. He's good here as a detective. I mean, not that he has to do too much, but he's still good here. The whole cast does okay. Honestly, they're actually a plus on this film. There is a lot of kills. You do see some blood, but that's one of the negatives, and we'll get into that in a second. It looks nice. The movie looks nice. It definitely does not have much in common with the original film besides it takes place at prom. And other than that, that's about it. The whole story around the killer is totally different, obviously. I mean, this is an obsessed teacher who went nuts and killed her mom and her brother to get to her, and then now he's back and he's trying to get with her once again because he's obsessed with her and kills a bunch of her friends. So this is way different than the original film, although they keep the same, it happens at prom. Matter of fact, this movie takes 75% of the movie, 80% of the movie takes place at the prom. So this movie definitely gives you more of the prom aesthetic, the atmosphere of a prom than the 1980 original film. Other than that, this wasn't the worst slasher film I've ever seen. The production value's there. I mean, they had a $20 million budget, so they had some money behind this film. The acting was decent. Even Richard Skeech as the killer, he's fine. He's fine. He's not a memorable killer, but he's fine here. It's just this is a very pedestrian remake. It's definitely not as good as the original. And I think they missed a great opportunity. Not only that, I mean, the runtime's not a problem. This movie moves pretty quickly. But they missed an opportunity of going really balls out with it, where the original film wasn't that gory. This one, they had a chance to just go full-on slasher balls out with the kills and that, and they don't. They pull back because they were trying to, they go into it with the PG-13 to get teenagers in the seats so they can make more money. That's why they did it. We all know that. And they stick with it. It's not overly violent. I mean, again, you see him stabbing at people. You don't see the penetration. You see blood. But it's not gory. So it definitely holds that PG-13 aesthetic. There's no surprises here. It's not very suspenseful. It's just a standard stock and slash. I wasn't offended by it. It's okay. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. At the end of the day, well, a couple trivia points. Scout Taylor Compton actually almost got the role of Donna, but they took Brittany Snow over her. And at one point, two of the kids are in the hotel room that they're staying at for prom, and on the TV was the movie Can't Hardly Wait with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Seth Green. But other than that, I got no other trivia here. Not that I could find anything that interesting. At the end of the day, this is a very pedestrian slasher. It's okay. You can watch it, and it's okay at best. At the end of the day, I would give Prom Night 2008 a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 for Prom Night 2008. Have you ever seen this one? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. I will see you great folks after my vacation. But until I see you again, bye.